Good morning. It's Wednesday, August 25th. It is 7:30 in the morning on the dot. I just finished putting my desk into rows per the district requirement. So now this is what my classroom looks like. It breaks my heart a little bit. I feel like putting the desk in rows just goes against what I stand for as a teacher. Like, I just don't like the psychological message it sends in class, like no one talk, no one turn, no one discuss. And so I always put my kids in groups even from the first day. Like, I think in my first couple years, I believed and held to the thought that get the kids in rows, no smiling until December, be really strict and then loosen up. And then over the years I just found that that wasn't necessary and I didn't like that. So I always start in groups and they stay in groups. But COVID, so you have to adjust. So I just put them in rows and the table groups will stay the same. They're just vertical now. So I'm just thankful that we get to stay in school, and if I have to put my desk in rows to maintain that ability, then that's what I'm going to do. I don't really have anything else to say right now because I have to kind of get the day started, but I just wanted to give you that update before I forgot. And I'm always trying to vlog throughout the day and not in one long chunk at the end of the day. So that's all I have for now. Talk to you later. I almost said good afternoon. It's really the evening. I'm getting ready to go home. It's 5:10. Earlier than when I left yesterday, but later than what I wanted to. But again, getting everything kicked off and underway with the house system and the technicalities of just getting everything with the points and barcodes and staff and awarding points finally straight has just been a little time consuming. I think we're just about there. And so I had to take a phone call with the rep from 5-Star, and I think we got the issue figured out. What we realized today is that even though we thought they were blocked, staff members had the capability of giving other staff members points, but technically under a student category. And if I'm not going to go into too many details, but basically we don't want staff members to be able to award themselves or their teammates points because, you know, people get tempted and dishonesty can ensue. So we were trying to figure out, is there a way to make it so that staff members can only give points to students and not to other staff members? And so I think we got a workaround figured out with the rep from 5-Star. So that's good. I have to go home and email the staff about some updates because some minor things changed. As far as today is concerned, I don't know why I'm just standing. What do we do? I mean, in history, what I do like so far is the strategies that I've been using for making thinking visible with our article of the week. So every day we've used a different strategy, with the exception of Monday. Monday we just did basic predicting and inferring, and that's not a strategy from making thinking visible. Yesterday we did, what day? Yeah, was that just yesterday? Why does that feel so long ago? Yesterday we did something called the +1 routine, which I'm pretty sure I shared in the vlog. And so today, and they highlight it in blue because the focus was just comprehension, and that's the first time we read the article. Today we read it for the second time, which is technically what I wanted the students to be doing when they were doing this on their own, and I don't think that the vast majority of them were doing it, which is why we're doing it together. Today we read it for the second time, and the focus was on questioning, so that would be the orange highlighter. And we read it, and prior to that I told them the focus today is to come up with engaging questions that you might be able to pose to your group, because you guys are going to be discussing it. And so it's called a leaderless discussion because everybody in the group leads the discussion at some point, and therefore no one truly is the leader. And that is for making thinking visible. So what I did to kind of adjust it for what I wanted was I made a Google form that I kind of need to edit a little bit because a part of this I had originally intended for them to do it at home, and I don't think I'm gonna have them do that. So here's what the form looks like. So it says article of the week, leaderless discussion. And so I showed them this after we read the article again together. And it says, this is the part where I had them or where I intended for them to do it at home, but I think I have since changed my mind. So it says create 2 open-ended questions that you feel will be interesting to discuss with your classmates. Open-ended questions are questions that cannot be answered with yes or no responses and are not basic comprehension questions. Then the next section basically tells them if you are having a hard time coming up with some open-ended questions, here are some prompts to help you get started. And I think these came straight from Making Thinking Visible, and I just put them on cute slides from Canva. And then they type in their question. Your first question. Remember, the question you create needs to be an open-ended original question. In other words, this should say your, I'm in editing mode, right? Let me fix it now. In other words, where was it? Your, Lord help me. Your question cannot be a basic comprehension question. In my second class, we still had issues with this, and so we have to work a little bit harder in that class for them to really understand what they were supposed to be doing there. And then after they pose the question, they are supposed to then list how they would respond to the question, and I don't even want to say or anymore, and why do you think this question will spark good conversation. And then they put the second question here with the same reminders, and let me go ahead and fix this. And then they answer it, or they tell why they think it's interesting and what their response would be. And then we're supposed to come back as a group and reflect as a class. We ran out of time with this in both classes, so they didn't do that today, so I had them just put in A. First group, I would say, probably did a better job with just staying involved in discussion. The second group struggled a bit, and I did talk to them about that, but at the same time said this is the first time we're doing it, so I'm gonna give you a little break there. But some of it was just them being off task and not following directions that I know I gave. So we did that outside because my class is in rows, as you saw me arranging them this morning. And kids were like, whoa, I think most kids don't like it. The afternoon class was like, why did you ruin our class? And thought that I had done this by choice. So I made sure to let them know I would never choose to put you guys in rows, that we have to do this right now because it's supposed to be a safety precaution, and they will be in rows for the time being. Also along those lines, we now got some more directives from the district in terms of what we have to do, because like I said earlier this week, principals are spending a lot of time contact tracing. So they're asking that we bring our seating charts with us home, because they are having to contact trace after hours on the weekends, and they may call us after hours, and we need to be able to tell them who sits next to who, who's been grouped with who. And so I need to get really locked up with having all of that with me at all times. And we had to initial all these things saying that we understand and we're going to do this, sign off on it, and turn that in to be kept on record. So that's what we did with history. Notice we haven't done like a actual history lesson yet, because I have been spending the first few weeks really laying the foundation for things that we're going to do every single week, and the foundation for things they need to understand before we jump into American history. Language arts, we only got to, in my first class, we got as far as reading the first passage of Unit 1 in Study Sync, which is Let Them Play God. I don't think I shared this yesterday because I was focused more on the Harris Burdick images that I shared with the students for their narrative project. But before we read Let Them Play God, I did find a YouTube video on Alfred Hitchcock that talks about the difference between suspense and shock. So we watched that so they understood what suspense really was, and that suspense is not shock. And then we listened to the passage today, just an honest first read, didn't discuss it at all. And I did that because I wanted to make sure that they had time to at least start All Your Twisted Secrets, because I know they had been looking forward to it, and then the day was up with them. So we didn't even get through as much of All Your Twisted Secrets as I wanted, but we got it started. My switch class, my afternoon class, is behind, so they still need to take the listening test on the TED Ed video that I believe I talked about earlier this week. They got their Harrisburg images today, and I got some footage of that. I'll insert that here. You guys ready? Yeah. There's no trading. There's no please, please, I want to switch. This is not what I want. What you get is what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Go ahead and open it. Yay. Oh, she got the one she so they were just as reactionary. One girl was like, I already know what image I want. I already have ideas. I need to get the one of the forest. And I said, I really hope that's the one you get. And it wasn't. But I made them do the same thing. I gave them the envelope, or Mr. Martin, the teacher that teaches with me, gave them the envelope, and we said, you may not even, don't even touch the envelope. So they just had it sitting on their desk while they watched that YouTube video. Then they got their images, and then we were pretty much out of time. So my afternoon class is definitely behind. So I got to get them caught up tomorrow, which I think I can because I have them for an extra hour tomorrow. And that's how the day went. So I'm gonna go home. My intention was to cook, but I don't know if I will. I took some shrimp out because I really am trying to be better every year about getting grades in there more consistently, and I already feel like a stack of paper is just staring at me, and these are easy things to enter, so I feel like I need to get that done. And I still have leftovers, but now that I remember I have to cook, because if I don't cook I won't have lunch tomorrow, so I guess I will be cooking. But yeah, so I'm gonna head home. I think that's all I intended to share today. I got a little bit of classroom footage, not as much as I wanted to, but you know, it is what it is. So if you enjoyed today's vlog, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you're not following me on Instagram, head over there at Smarty Style. And as always, I hope that you guys are well. If you're not well, please be well, and I will see you tomorrow for Thursday.